Alright, game number 1, Infernal Shrines, Division 7, heroeslaunch.gg. The Plague Makers go up against the Red Runs. Now again, I'm going to throw that out once more because it still confuses people. If you look at this game and you are asking yourself, what the hell are these people doing? That's a natural thought. Don't worry about that. This is indeed plays from bronze 5 up to roughly gold something. That's usually the level of play that we're seeing in Division 7 of Heroes Launch. I wasn't kidding in the past when I said that anyone can play in Heroes Launch. So if you're interested, check them out. heroeslaunch.gg, biggest amateur scene in Europe and North America by now, and these guys are fantastic. But we're going into Heroes Launch Division 7 a little bit for the lulz, for the memes, and we're going to see how these guys are doing here. So Sonya gets banned out, obvious first ban right there. And I don't know what to expect on Infernal Shrines here. Plague Maker. I have casted Red Runs before, but I don't think I had the pleasure of casting the Plague Makers yet. So I'm not 100% certain what we're going to see here. It is probably going to be a little bit crazy. But either way, even if it's not the most entertaining match, we're definitely going to use it as a teaching opportunity for everybody that is watching. If you are playing on the lower levels, some of the mistakes pointed out might be something you do too. And then you can, of course, try and maybe fix that for your own play, for your own team, and then get a little bit better in the future. So we have a Khaldor ban once more, and that has actually started to become a very consistent ban in the last few games that we casted here. Infernal Shrines in particular, it's just like the Fire Mage. If you don't know how to spread from living bombs and like run away from circles on the ground, Khaldor is a pretty good hero to have in your team, and a very tough one to go up against. So Khaldor sees more and more bans these days. Another hero that sees a lot of bans is this bad boy, Melganis. Was actually led through in one of the earlier games today, and he wrecked. He definitely started destroying people, so that was pretty tough. Either way, let's see what our picks are gonna look like. We had some quite meta compositions in some of the games earlier, more meta than usual, but this is the very first pick. Yeah, all right. So we're going to get a Jaina with that, I assume, and try and blow a couple of heroes to pieces. Alex Straza, okay, a little bit of a focus. Orphea immediately being played. Now keep in mind, this is a map where we actually see Azmodan sometimes banned, so I'm just putting it out there. There's a chance we're going to see Azmodan. But that Varian first pick is already making me very suspicious. This is something where you would like to have some burst damage behind it. And Jaina fits the bill a little bit more in Infernal Shrines than Li Ming does. I mean, you can play Li Ming here, but she usually doesn't get quite as much value. Haha! There he is! Azmodan and Valla. Oh god. This is gonna be bad. I like the Azmodan just because he's funny. The Valla I'm not so sold on to, because, yeah, she is still struggling without double support, and having Varian, I would have way more preferred them to go into a Jaina. Then again, to be honest, if you have already an Azmodan and you add a Jaina to the mix, then all of a sudden you're looking at a very cooldown heavy lineup, so we'll see. Lucio gets banned out. That insults me on so many levels that you would actually deem that hero ban-worthy. It's just insane to me. If my opponent picks Lucio, I'm going into my happy zone. I have a smile on my face the entire game. I'm dancing around the PC while I'm playing, and it's going to be an easy win. So banning that out just shows that the Plague Makers, they want a challenge, you know? They are actual competitors. They want a challenge. They want to go into this game and leave their opponent a chance to win. So they're saying, hey, if by accident they misclick and they pick Lucio, then it's a free win for us. We don't really want that. We're on stream right now. We need to show a proper game. So let's ban that hero out, make sure that they can't misclick on him, and then we have an actual game. That's how it usually works. So with that being said, Diablo gets banned out too. And we have an ETC for the power slide and a Junkrat. I'm still waiting for that Blaze, to be honest, now that I see ETC. ETC can be amazing, but still, you want to have a little bit more sustain. Give me that Tyrael Sanctification, that Blaze bunker. Then again, what I'm talking about, it is Division 7. There's not gonna be a bunker. Even if we have Blaze, it is gonna be combustion. We know that already, so yeah. Infernal Shrines, and the last two picks for the red team, who still needs a support and an offlaner. Oh my god! Oh, LiLi, Valla, Azmodan, Varian, and Garrosh. Yeah. So Varian on the offlane, I assume? Like, this is a huge chance for the blue team to get a great offlaner that is just gonna wreck Varian on that. And they go into Johanna. Double tank. I mean, she can offlane, right? Like, she can. So, like, I'm not sure what's going on here, guys. But I still think that the blue team probably won the draft quite handily. But then again, it's Division 7, so you never know. So let's find out what's gonna happen here on Infernal Shrines. Game number 1, Infernal Shrines, and we are live. To the left side, Shom on Alexstrasza. We have Princess on Johanna. Princess Johanna today. Star-Lord, apparently not busy with the next Avengers movie or Guardians of the Galaxy. So he says, hey, I'm going to play a little bit of Heroes of the Storm. ETC is my boy. Amiga Spirit on Ophir. And Marine Lord on Junkrat. And to the right side, it's the Red Runs with Elliot on Garrosh. NS on Azmodan. I remember that, yeah. Lord Suho on Valla. Mr. Bukalele on Varian. And we have Kaplan on LiLi. Alright, boys. Let's check this out. Yeah. Level 1 for Valla. Probably going to go into the hybrid build with multi-shot. That's what you would expect here. Azmodan. I'm really curious about the Azmodan stacking. Every single Azmodan that we have seen so far in Division 7 just didn't know what stacking is. And when you look at that lineup, the only hero that can really help Azmodan with his stacks is actually Valla with a multi-shot. So again, if you're playing Azmodan and you're playing on a lower level, what you want is you need to get stacks together. So when you're auto-attacking a wave, I'm explaining this again because I can't stand to see these Azmodans anymore that end up with 40 stacks 10 minutes in. So when you're looking at a wave moving in, if you have all the time in the world and you don't even need any assistance, what you do is you auto-attack the backline minions up to a point where they are about to die. The frontline minions are attacked by your own wave. So then everything is low and then you hit the globe and you get the stacks for the wave. If there are other heroes, though, that make your life a little bit harder and you can't really go for that, oh, Valla nearly gets taken out there. Then what you have to do is usually rely on someone helping you out. So you all start auto-attacking a couple of the minions, then you throw a globe, and at the same time as the globe comes in, your assistance through a Johanna, a Zeratul or whatever gets their own AoE in and confirms those kills and gives you the stacks. That's how you play. You can train that with a friend, and please do, because it breaks my heart every single time I see one of these Azmodan players not getting any stacks whatsoever. Getting kills is also a good way. And that's actually something where we see Garrosh just going in deep. And again, a quick triple that comes in here, trying to wreck them. That's another question. Don't walk into that! And that might be the end of Garrosh. No! Gets away and Marine Lord dies. Oh, the slide misses. That was so close. That could have been a trade, but Valla gets the kill in and then moves away from the fight with barely a few hit points left, but enough. Well done and well played. 2 kills against 0. Valla What? What just happened? She was safe. Did she actually attack the minions? She got taken. Like, no way. Valla just died to the mercenary camp, apparently. And S gets thrown away by the grenade and gets taken out too. Alright, that backfired quickly. I thought the red team might have this, but I'm not so sure anymore. Marine Lord on the run. Valla is back to business. The Lord... that failed. Johanna, by the way, as expected during draft, is actually on the off-lane duty with the self-sustain and the wave clear that she has. But I'm very worried for this game now. I'm very worried. The suicide into the camp. By the way, Valla also going into the puncturing arrow now. That's already an interesting build. Now, we've seen hybrid builds in the past, and I've actually seen a hybrid build with auto attack into arrow. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but it's definitely not your norm. So I'm not quite sure if he's really thinking about this or if he's just randomly picking a talent. Early Dragon Queen already on the side of Alexstrasza. Normally you get that late in order to confirm it, but Azmodan is getting punched a bit too hard. Princess on the way back. Garrosh. Oh, that could be bad, but he gets a bit of self-sustain and that works out for them. So they have still the lead, but of course the blue team, the Plague Makers, have now started to take complete control over the first shrine here. Doing fairly well with that. ETC going in again, and Valla is going down. That's the problem with her right there. Very little self-sustain. Big, big issue for Valla player. And by the way, on level 4, Backbiter even. Didn't really think that we would get that, but I mean, you get a little bit of a passive health increase too. So it kind of helps, but it's definitely not a talent that you see too often on her. So now with level 7 talents in for the red team, they still face a Punisher in a few seconds because that is an easy secured objective for the Plague Makers. And now Valla going into... Okay, we have to kind of try and figure out what she's doing here. Death Dealer is being picked, Puncturing Arrow. It looks like it's an attempt to go into the mass damage build. Mass damage also on Garrosh now, and Garrosh is dying. That's 4 kills against 2 at this point. We're going to talk about Valla later. Azmodan, by the way, is just going straight for his own lane. He's getting completely left alone here for quite some time, so I'm wondering if he has stacks, but I'm afraid to look at it. I think we should still. Varian is a bit in trouble. Azmodan is sitting at 76 stacks. This is not too bad. 94. I can get behind this. I can get behind this. Yes, you could do better, but still, that's solid. That's way better than previous Azmodan players that we've seen. So, okay, I'm game. Oh, Varian! Ah, and they take down Ophia. Good job. Nice displacement here. Garrosh preparing a kill and getting it. Varian didn't even die, so now they're in a position where they lost the fort early on, but they still have that experience lead because they pushed out the bot lane earlier. Okay, that gives us a chance to talk about a couple of things here, because first of all, we're looking at Valla, and Valla is currently just like randomly throwing talents out. And she's ending up with a build that gives her a little bit more mana sustain. Hot Pursuit is actually really good for mana sustain. More damage through the Puncturing Arrow if she completes the quest, and then Death Dealer for even more auto attack kills. It's not a disaster. It's a weird build, but it has a little bit of synergy, and you're just not going for wave play, you're just going for like a maximum amount of one-on-one damage, I want to call it. I wouldn't advise anyone to play that particular build. Yeah, but it's there. I really think the play here would have been to go for multi-shot. You're playing on Infernal Shrines and you want to go into a multi-shot hybrid build because it allows you to have a way stronger multi-shot at level 16 later on. It allows you to have wave clear through Arsenal in particular. So yeah, I'm trying to look at the build and say like, hey, there's good aspects of it too, but as you can imagine, it's not quite what you want to play here. That being said, we have now, in terms of talents, a really heavy jump focus from Ophia. Backbiter on level 4 and then Insatiable on level 7. So trying to get the cooldown reduction and really speccing heavily into that particular ability. Haven't really seen that from any of the Ophias just yet that we commentated, so I'm interested how much you can actually get out there. But now we have Azmodan getting his stacks together, and this is actually making Azmodan a lot more dangerous. Because every Azmodan player that we so far casted on the map really sucked at stacking. But this is actually doing a lot better, so we have a really good chance of him getting good globe stacks together and then really getting value later on. I'm still hating this choice. Demonic Invasion, if you're going for a globe build, is a disaster. Like, that's a split push thing, if anything. But if you really want to participate in team fights a little bit and you want to have a big oomph with your Globe of Annihilation, that's not what you go for. Demonic Invasion is definitely a talent that is more so, hey, I'm alone and I'm trying this. Because now he's also missing out on the opportunity to just instantly kill a single wave with just his hits, with just a globe stack. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But okay. We also have now Warbringer taken for... Like, there's so much shit happening here. Warbringer on level 10. So getting the cooldown reduction in here. And can charge to allied heroes as well, which in a pinch helps you to escape. Didn't quite think we would see that. Instead, I would have expected more of a parry focus. But hell yeah, let's go for it. The Jug on LiLi is going to give her the heals. There are interrupts though. There are a few interrupts. So that can always interrupt the channel when LiLi throws a little tantrum. And goes just like... Blah, 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 blah. So we're going to see when that happens. You know what I mean, like whenever she presses R, she's like throwing a fit. But we have a Blessed Shield, and we also have Mosh Pit and a Power Slide, so not quite sure. There's a quest completed, 8 minutes in already, but this one is the important one. So let's see how much we're going to get. Already Azmodan starting to get a little bit of damage in. If he now uses his trade for the top lane, they're going to get a bit of pressure there. You need to be careful, Valla. You have no hit points. You have basically negative hit points. If someone looks at you the wrong way, you are halfway dead. So you need to be very cautious how you go in there. There comes the Blessed Shield, hasn't really done anything. Princess is eating a ton of damage. There comes the taunt up to the top, and the interrupt nearly against the ult from LiLi. But ETC goes down, and LiLi gets the full heal duration through, and Princess is falling as well. As I said before, Johanna, you need to be a bit cautious there. Great attack by the red team. The red runs are ratting in and trying to get that particular Punisher, but the fight isn't quite over yet because Alexstrasza hasn't given up on it. 32 stacks, it's close. Is it close enough though? Another good hit from Orphea, but now they go for Ana. The taunt is in, and Alexstrasza goes down. Not quite Ana. Starts with an A2 though. And everybody's low. Everybody is low, but they should be able to get now the objective. And yeah, that is looking good. Even with Junkrat attacking from the side, they're not quite getting it. And Vala's down. Again, you look at her the wrong way, and she's in trouble. You know that. So, yeah. This is also another one where especially a multi-shot would have been great for Valla because, again, she would have been able to secure that particular objective way quicker. And now they don't have one of their damage dealers. Garrosh is also low, gets slowed down. Good hits again coming in from NS on his Azmodan, but not quite enough. And again, level 2 or his level 10 would have been way better. But looking at the stacking process, Sinnigan 180 stacks. Again, we've seen worse. We've seen a lot worse. Valla still trying to make sure that she gets her own level 4 quest completed. Haven't really seen that yet. Alexstrasza working on her level 1, Varian similarly too. But the 13 is now in, and when we're looking at the talents, we have now outside of free drinks and trying to get the heal through that. We have hindering winds, and we're having also the Gale Force. So at least a little bit of a blind focus here in two of the talents that we're seeing from LiLi, not only speccing into heals at this point, but trying to get the utility on the shrine as well. And talking about like utility, down at the bottom of the map we have another engage, mosh pit, and they're walking straight into it. And immediately Orphea just starts chomping away, and Valla just does not have anything to survive here. But they might get a counter kill. They're trying to, but another kill as Varian goes down. He's dead, and even with the Riptide, it looked for a second as if Garrosh would also bite the dust. He survives through all of it though, and is able to walk away from the fight. But it's 7 kills against 6 now, in favor of the blue team. Yep, the Plague Makers are doing well here. But we still have that Azmodan factor. Maybe later on he can get that clear in. Completing, sitting at 200 stacks right now, completing that. Could do a lot more again with a different level 10. But he's in a position where he's starting to get the wave clear out, and he's also getting a bit of extra damage in against princes and others. So long run, long term, that might just be enough for him to get massive, massive damage over the globes, get the wave clear, push the lanes out, and really do well here. For Azmodan, it's really important that he works with this trait, of course, now too. And they need to be very careful that they're not going to get attacked here, because Blessed Shield is up. And that means if you play your cards not right, then one Blessed Shield into a follow-up could take you down. Now, Valla to the top, as we said before, went also into Gloom. Now, first of all, you have a little bit of spell armor, so that's already great. But once you see the damage coming in, you can just like eat your stacks and you survive through a lot of this. I would say with the build, we're probably still going to see Manticore on level 16, but at this point, your guess is as good as mine, because Valla has a very creative build. Yeah, he's double-checking if there's someone in the fog, which isn't the case here, but they're actually laying a bit of a trap. Valla, you don't want to run in front of your Garrosh. That is not a thing. Yeah, I'm not sure you really want to be here. Alright, alright. And he checks it. I was about to say, don't tell me he's face-checking this one, but he's not. They're moving away. LiLi is low, and here's the ult. Right, immediately going for the ult here, keeping everyone alive for now. Valla with a Rain of Vengeance. They're going for the camp. Here comes the Riptire. Valla is still alive, losing half HP on this, but the mosh pit in the back. The problem is there's no follow-up. Zero follow-up, but Garrosh might still fall as finally Orphea goes in and is able to secure the kill for them. They take the camp, they get the kill. 2 camps pushing the top lane right now, 2 Shaman camps. They have the 16, and now the Plague Makers are all of a sudden looking solid for this one. That should be an easy grab for them. Burst Fire now taken also from Junkrat, but the only thing that can happen is a defense against the camps. Head start, of course, for the blue team now. Azmodan is a bit too far out for my liking, and he might actually fall. He gets body blocked. Azmodan is not really the slimmest guy in the universe, and that's a staggered death right there. And it looks grim. It looks grim for the Red Runs. Down 3 kills, down a talent, down a level. They're going to get their 16 now, but even with Garrosh back, with Azmodan gone, there's very little hope for them to make any kind of play up here. 4 versus 5, you don't really want to go into that. Azmodan, what? Frost shot? I mean, alright. Like my theory that Valla has a dice next to her mouse and just rolls the dice whenever a new talent here appears is currently getting pretty much proven. I mean, there's some synergy, but it could be random. It could be random at this point. Valla, whatever you're doing, go home. You're drunk. So, 16 versus 17. That fort is a goner, and now just the question remaining, how much can they get out of this push? Can they get the keep? That's pretty much the only question here. Azmodan is already coming back into this. Does he use his trade on the bottom? Yep, does. Okay, so they're going to get a bit of pressure there. But they're burning down that Punisher pretty heavily. I'm liking it. Okay, Punisher's nearly down. The keep should actually be safe. But, yeah, there come a couple more hits from Azmodan, so he's going to start, continue to get his stacks together for the damage. But they're defending the keep for now. So that was actually pretty well done by them. Getting the keep, baiting the Punisher over. And again, like I'm saying well done because they baited the Punisher over, right? They made like an active choice, baited it over, played around that, and that's important. If you don't bait that Punisher properly and you trigger the jump in front of it, then you're in trouble. And here comes the taunt, talking trouble. They're going for Alex, and Alex is down, was trying to pop the ult, but couldn't. She falls, and now we might see even more. There is still Varian and Garrosh around. That's a huge amount of CC that you have if you get close enough, and Varian wants the charge, and you know, oh, the slide actually missing. Is that a taunt? Taunt is in. Taunt is in. Junkrat is already low, and they're starting to try and get these kills. Maybe, and yes, they can. Orphea goes down. She dies, and we still have the heals from LiLi, so they're all on full health, and they can push through the mid lane, which is exactly what they're doing. Back and forth. Right now, starting to move back in and try to take the control of the game back. They're closing the gap in experience and start to go a little bit closer to level 20 themselves now. Stacks on Azmodan, I mean, he is completed, but we're going to double check real quickly how much he has in total. And outside of that, Valla still hasn't completed her level 4. She just doesn't get those. That's another one. One arrow hits. Okay, we're sitting at 15 right now, but we're already 16 minutes into the game, and not completing your level 4 at this point in time is not really the best move. Varian also still struggling with his level 1, by the way. But looking at Azmodan, we have 345. So he's really getting the numbers out there. And talking about the numbers, let's take a quick look at them. Azmodan with 52,000 hero damage. Now just imagine how that would look if he would have taken the proper level 10 ability. Junkrat is taking the poke damage. Uh-oh. That could be a problem. Nice interrupt on the mosh pit. Great play by Garrosh. Really well done. Gets the taunt through, and that might be the end of ETC as well. Barely saving him for now, but that was well done by Garrosh. ETC slides in, goes for the mosh pit, and then immediately we're having Garrosh saying like, no, not on my watch, buddy. Valla wasn't even there though. The blue team could have definitely committed a little bit harder to that particular fight. Valla is currently still roaming the map and has of course to also deep pressure top lane because of those catapults in every third wave. They lost every single fort, so there's definitely a lot of pressure against the red team. There's no doubt about that. But again, they're back to business for team fights, and the next one is going to center around the middle here. But we already have both teams preparing the top lane. But you have to keep Azmodan in mind. The only thing that Azmodan has to do in order to tilt the balance on the top lane is first of all use his trait on top side. And Enes could also just simply throw one additional globe towards the top and really help clearing that wave before they engage into the fight itself. So once they do that, that should be an easy one for the next wave. If you do that, then you're definitely going to offset this. And we already have him pushing with a couple of his traits here, so that one's good. And now the chance to get some more pressure in here. Alright, gets the warrior in, gets a globe in. Should have maybe waited for the wave, but yeah, they're going to depush this quite easily, and this is going to be good for them, depending on how long that fight lasts. But yeah, that fight is a different story, because 20 is close. 20 is very close. There's again the attempt of the mosh pit. Azmodan with 400 stacks right now. Great ult in the backline from Orphea, but the damage is out already. Here comes the Reptile, and barely Garrosh survives, but for how long, that's the question, and the answer is not long enough. In comes Varian, goes for the taunt. They're trying to take down Orphea, but they cannot get the kill, and now Varian is dead as well. LiLi is just on the run. Her ult got interrupted. Valla is still alive. Where's that ult, LiLi? Why don't you press R? Press R! The fuck? Alright, she doesn't press R at all. That would have been an easy heal. Might have even gotten a little bit more out of that. But that's 3 heroes down because Azmodan died too. Now topside as expected, they're going to get some value, but that didn't really go their way at all. LiLi didn't press the ult again. Still able to keep Valla alive. That was something. But that team fight turned quickly against them. Mosh pit interrupt and everything, and once that Garrosh is down, you know that you're in trouble there. Varian just didn't really get too much. The problem with Varian, again, is like you want to have burst damage for follow-up, and they don't really have that. Either you have burst damage follow-up, or you have CC follow-up, and they have some damage, don't get me wrong, but it's not like an Orb of Annihilation, just one-shots a hero. That's why I was really, really looking towards Jaina earlier. Good bait over the wall, again, trying to keep another keep alive. Bot lane, by the way, gets solid value. This is where you need to start spamming your D as Azmodan. Of course, right now he's dead, so he can't. But mid lane, it looks more and more like they're gonna lose this one. This is gonna be tough. There comes the attack. Again, nice moves from Valla, but is it gonna be enough to keep Garrosh alive? He has the ult from LiLi, and that will definitely do the trick. But Varian is incredibly low. Moves away, did not take his 10, did not take the parry there. And that's, of course, another problem. They were going for a very aggressive setup, and it just doesn't work. Down again goes Garrosh. He's falling, and this might even be the end of game number 1, as we are having that setup with LiLi Azmodan just getting wrecked in the backline. Once more, a good Rain of Vengeance for the quick stun. Here comes the ETC Mosh Pit, though. Can they get the kill? Indeed they do, and Azmodan survives the double kill as Valla goes in deep, might go for the triple. Alexstrasza is low. Marine Lord on his Junkrat is trying to create a little bit of space for them, but they are definitely in trouble. Another quick hit with the Riptire, but missing the stun here. Azmodan is also very low, and Azmodan is down. At some point, Marine Lord just said, dude, you can't just like run after me the entire time without any hit points whatsoever. Screw you! Turns around, hits the volley, and down they go. Game's not over yet. 15 kills against 20, but the red team is still in it. Taunt on 20, the Vigilance. So trying to get the cooldown reduction. But I really think that Warbringer was a bit of a bad choice here for Varian. That could have definitely been played a little bit better. Azmodan dying again, did also not spam D down to the bot lane. That lane got out pushed by the catapult. And LiLi went for Mistweaver. Okay, so tries to... Let's look at the heal numbers actually while we're talking about trying to heal people. 93,000 against the 80k that we're seeing from Alex. That ain't too bad. But yeah, definitely having a little bit of trouble of keeping the boys alive. LiLi herself, by the way, hasn't died yet. Only hero in the game who hasn't died yet. It's a happy panda. But you look at the minimap and you immediately realize how much of a control the blue team has established over the map. Like, they are painting the map blue, they take all the camps, they have all of the forts taken down, they have also eliminated the keep in the middle. There's a massive amount of catapults in general just spawning for them. So the red team, they have to try and offset that by simply moving through and taking a few structures themselves. For that you have to win a team fight though, and so far it hasn't really looked too good. Valla also with a Storm of Vengeance. Like, I honestly don't understand what's going on. I honestly don't get it. I mean, at that point you finally have the Farflight Quiver, where you can try and get some damage out. Varian amidst all of this, going a little bit for a Tours moment. Dies as well. That was not a good death. But Valla, I do not know what that build is. I'm really struggling. The Frost Shot, like the level 4 and the level 7 I wasn't quite on board with, but I'm like maybe I can make a case for it. At level 16 she lost me completely, and at level 20 it was just all down the drain. So I'm not sure what's going on here with Valla. But yeah, she doesn't want to be safe or anything. Farfight Core would have been a good one here, but nope. So yeah, mid lane is going to be a concern as we're looking towards the top. Punisher, and of course with Varian just dying, that's another big problem, because he just died right before the shrine got announced, and that's not a good place to be in. And I'm not quite sure if they can even make the play for it. I mean, they're pushing out the lanes, and they definitely should, right? They need to do that. But you also need to fight for this one. Like, we're 23 minutes in. There's no way that Punisher doesn't help them end. Then again, we had a 40-minute game here once, so, yeah. Or 35. So do I know. Okay, they're actually going in for it. And ETC... ETC is doing what ETCs do. He takes the camp. Guys, I got this. I'm a Gazlowe main. I know that taking the camp right now is important. So it takes the camp that will be immediately de-pushed by the top side. It is not going to get any value whatsoever. Because reasons. That's pretty much why this is happening. But they are giving up the position on the shrine. And... this is a chance for the red team. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's still stacked against them, but it's a chance, right? Already, Garrosh walks in, looks for the taunt, and the mosh pit in the back gets immediately interrupted. The follow-up is too late. Follow-up is too late. Here comes the ult from Alexstrasza, but Ayut is really, really low. Can they get the kill? They do! Valla down, but so is Ophir. Ophir is dead, but Garrosh is about to die. Garrosh goes down, and now the Dragon Queen of Alexstrasza is just wrecking house, yes. Azmodan gets a bit more damage in, but now we're having Barrier and also at the very, very wrong end of this particular battle. So it's a triple kill. It's a 3-for-1 trade. And yeah, that doesn't really do a whole lot. Also, the camp that all of this was done is, by the way, going to get depushed immediately, as expected. I mean, it is a topside shrine, and you're taking a topside camp, so your camp is not going to get a lot. ETC should have never even taken it. It was way more important for him to be here, and they could have grabbed that right away. Again, it didn't backfire, right? Like, they still won the fight, but you didn't have to give the fight to your opponent in the first place. So, yeah. LiLi, by the way, still has her ult, so I'm not quite sure why exactly she didn't use that in the last fight. But then again, there were a lot of things where I wasn't quite sure why they're happening. 3 catapults on the core, a Punisher on the way. I think we all know how that story ends. That is going to be an easy first game for the blue team as the Plague Makers take the lead in this best of 3. After a hard-fought game 1, they take the lead against the Red Runs. Cursed Hollow, game number 2. After we had a bit of a back and forth here, the Plague Makers were able to win number 1, Infernal Shrines. The LiLi, Azmodan, Valla combo didn't quite work out for Red Runs, especially since LiLi had a very creative build. Looked a little bit random if you ask me. Valla had that, yeah, so we're gonna see how that's gonna work out now in game number 2, especially, of course, what the draft is going to be like. If you're the Plague Makers, like, what do you... Ah, come on! I talked about this already earlier. You don't ban Lucio. It's like... Banning Lucio is like banning... Well, Lucio. It's like... It's a free win if your opponent takes Lucio. Why would you do that? Then again, to be fair, if you're playing on HTC level, which this definitely isn't, then on Cursed Hollow you can play with a Lucio strategy and just run around your opponent and snipe structures and then run away. So, has been played in the past. But that as a ban, and even as a first ban, this is making my stomach feel bad. Like, this just doesn't feel good. So, we have Ophia banned out. I can understand it a bit more. I mean, she just jumped through the team in the last fight. And Ophia in general has seen more of a priority here. I would say Mal'Ganis is going to be banned out soonish again, but first of all we're going to get rid of Diablo, and now it's all of a sudden up to the Red Runs if they want to ban Mal'Ganis. And keep in mind, first pick goes to the Plague Makers. So... Mal'Ganis, or are they going to get rid of something else here on Cursed Hollow? Now we have 2 bosses. That usually makes Tyrael pretty good there with Holy Ground, and also, of course, Sanctification. Globals, oftentimes highly prioritized here. Could even see that Azmodan again. And Junkrat gets banned out. Okay, the control in the last game was a bit annoying to them in this wave clear. That leaves Mal'Ganis on the board. And we could actually see him. Gul'dan, first pick. Fair. Who's gonna go for Mal'Ganis? That's my biggest one right now. Are we gonna see any of that? I'm so scared of those first picks. After game 1, I literally don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, that early Azmodan that we saw in the first game was always something where I was like, alright, let's go. And there's a false stat and an ETC. Okay, so they're going to try and aim for a bit of global pressure. Pretty sure we're going to see a mage build on that false stat. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Shock and Awe, aka the Hinterland Blast, taken as well. But I mean, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. So far... we only have the bird. Not sure if that's really the global I would go for. Yeah, that seems a little bit more like it. The Haka gets picked by our Division 7 team. And Stukov together with that. Pretty normal, actually. I mean, we're not going too crazy just yet. But then I'm looking over to Red Runs and I remember the first game composition. And I'm just like, let's see how that goes. Pretty normal picks here. What are the bans? No Mal'Ganis, by the way, just yet. So you can still ban him out if you want to. But also, if one of the teams really wanted to play him, the chances of them picking him a lot earlier would have been pretty strong. So, yeah. What's the ban? I mean, you ban out tanks, right? Johanna, alright. They're saying, like, well, take your Mal'Ganis all day long. We have a hero that can auto-attack, so we need to get rid of the blinds. Like this is by the way thinking that you need to kind of get rid of. No, like characters that have blinds don't hard counter auto attackers. Yes, they are good into them, but don't sacrifice the idea of your draft just in order to get that. That's kind of important, and people think a little bit too much in these hard counter ways where they feel like, oh, once we have a Johanna, Reyna is useless. It's not quite how it works. But yeah, if you have the blinds, then the heroes become more attractive for sure, but don't sacrifice that draft idea just because you see that and don't panic. Okay, red runs. The Li Ming. Normal builds, what's going on here? And an Artanis! Yeah, of course, okay. Now we're talking a bit. They got a bit timid after the first game. They were guys, okay, boys, we went overboard. We need to tone it down a little. But let's not go too meta here. So we have Artanis instead. Plague Makers. They still need a main tank. I mean, that Garrosh is still out there. Didn't get him in the last game, but it's still an option for them, right? Arthas and Maiev. We actually get to see a Maiev in Division 7. Alright. Arthas, Maiev, and Dehaka in a backline Gul'dan. Alright. Let's see. What do we have for the red runs? What's going to be the play here? The last pick. It's a support, right? LiLi in the last game. Just don't pick Brightwing. Don't do it. Be nice. I fucking hate you. Oh god, okay. Lucio is banned. What is the second worst healer that we could go for? Oh yeah, let's play Brightwing. We already have a global, but whatever, let's go for it. Okay boys, let's go straight into game number 2 and hope that the red ones get punished for this. Game number 2. And the Plague Makers are in the lead. Shom on Stukov to the left. We have for the blue team Marine Lord and Gul'dan. The Princess is playing Arthas this time. Starlord on Dehaka. And Amiga Spirit on Maiev. To the right side, after we've seen LiLi in game number 1, we now have Brightwing in game number 2 with Alyut. Have to go for it. I mean, Lucio is banned. What else are you going to pick, right? Kaplan on ETC, NS on Li Ming. Whereas Mr. Bukalele on Artanis. Going straight on level 1 into the stacking. And Falstad, played by Suhu, our Valla player from the last game, hasn't made a talent choice yet. And that scares the shit out of me. Because... okay. Alright, flies top and steals the vision away. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, plays were made. But yeah, it scares the hell out of me when he takes his talents this late. After that, yeah, that build, let's call it a build for now, just to be polite, that he played in game number 1 on Valla. I'm not quite sure what we're going to get from him. Gathering Storm on 1, ETC already sliding in here. And on level 1 for ETC, we immediately have Prog Rock, and he's going to need that. I mean, you have a Brightwing here, so let's see how that's going to work out. Down to the bottom of the map, this is where the real fight happens. Man against man, mano a mano. We have Dehaka going up against Artanis. So yeah, Artanis for the game. Didn't quite expect him to be there, but they want to have him as a bit of a bruiser version, going into the stacks on level 1 to try and increase the damage a little bit. Not necessarily utility and survivability that they're looking out for here. I guess if you go into Amateur Opponent, you could have gone for a bit more pressure against the bosses on the map as well, but they don't really feel the need for that. Already good damage here from Marine Lord on his Gul'dan. But of course, Cursed Hollow is a map where global pressure is going to be important. And talking pressure, Falstad is suffering at the top side. We have globals, we have Falstad, we have Brightwing, so you can definitely use those to control the map a little bit better in terms of experience. But then again, the Dehaka on the other side should offset that to an extent at least. So that's what we're currently looking for. Brightwing is going to offer a little bit of utility. I mean, as much as I hate the hero, let's talk a little bit about the advantages that you have. You have some global presence that you don't need because you have Falstad already. You have Polymorph, which is fantastic, especially if Gul'dan goes for the Reign of, what's it called? Reign of Destruction, and goes for the channel, which pretty much is not going to happen. And then you don't really have to do a lot to heal stuff, so that's a plus right there. Why wouldn't you pick Brightwing when there's heroes like Alexstrasza, Whitemane, Malfurion still up on the board? Such a great choice. So yeah, I'm just curious, do they use the globals? I mean, with all my Brightwing hate, let's talk about the counter argument. Obviously, when you're having a team like Fnatic that heavily focuses on triple globals in 2017, which is a year ago, and of course ever since then things also changed a little bit, but when you have that, then you have a team that really controls the macro game a lot. Division 7, we usually don't see all that much of a focus on the macro game, so I just don't believe that Brightwing is going to have that much of value here. But I'm also absolutely open to being proven wrong, because I want to see Game 3. The Mega Spirit has a little bit of a dance with Kaplan and NS here on ETC and Liming, but the first one is now on the board, and we are immediately seeing them starting to jump in up to the top side. The Haka still bottom, hasn't made the move top yet, and the problem is, even with 2 globals, nobody's soaking bot lane. Yep, the swap, look at that, the God swap and the kill against Maiev, but Brightwing is down. Not going to change anything for the fight, it's not like she was useful. So with that, we're still having that fight continuing as before. The kill against Arthas. Artanis down, try to go for the swap save. But we have a 3 versus 3 now. The big issue, of course, being that everybody on the red team is low. That does not stop ETC from power sliding in, though. And he dies. Brightwing tries to go for the global, doesn't do it. So the first one goes over to the blue team. But one of the problems that we definitely had, the camp offsets that to an extent. If you have a global and you have double globals and you have a Dehaka still at the bottom of the map, you kind of want to have one of your globals down here and then just move up as Dehaka does. Losing experience there is a bit of an issue. Having the camp time was actually a very cool move by the Red Ones. I really liked it a lot, because I think that helped them to maintain control over the lane to an extent, and also to just push the lane out once more. Brightwing down at the bottom of the map, as Artanis comes down to help out here now too. Up to the top, we are still having Falstad, and let's take a quick look at Falstad and his stacks so far. Sitting at 13, 14 now, alright, get some damage out of that. 8 stacks on Artanis. ETC not really doing too well with the globe progress, but we also have 15 stacks on Gul'dan, that isn't really too bad. Drag dodge, that was a good one, okay. Gets a bit more damage out there. And on level, he went for Boomerang. We actually have a build that makes sense on Falstad. Bit surprised after game number 1, didn't really expect that, but I like it. I really like it. So we have, first of all, with Hammer Gains on level 4, getting a little bit of self-sustain on the solo lane that he's playing right now. He has the stacking progress on 1, and we're seeing Artanis die again over here. But yeah, Falstad at least has some consistencies there. Now, personally, I would have preferred him going into Seasoned Marksman. But then again, at least we have Boomerang, we have Hammer Gain, so yeah, he's going to get that. Stacking, of course, going to be important for him. One of the downsides of being in that solo lane is now he has only 1 target against him outside of team fights, but he's actually pretty consistently hit that, so it isn't too bad. Again, looking at Division 7 here, so your opponents are also not going to be dodging as much. The drag attempt, quite working out, and another 2 hits, so he's actually getting those stacks together. Liming going up against Princess down here at the bottom, that's a bit of a different story, though. I would really prefer Artanis to be down here and dealing with the second solo lane. Instead, we're having Artanis and ETC in the middle, and that doesn't quite work. You want to have some range damage there too, and that's a big gank that comes up in. ETC slides into the Howling Blast. The swaps, the dashes, like cooldowns are being hit, buttons are being smashed, and heroes are taken down. Double kill against Artanis and ETC. The gank a bit too strong. Brightwing not teleporting in for this one to help out here. Now we have level 10s in play. And Artanis is going to be back with ETC just in time to fight for that objective. At least if there's a bit of an interrupt beforehand. But with level 10 abilities, it doesn't really look like anyone is going to try and interrupt that. Liming isn't even getting into position, but Liming had a chance to interrupt here. But it's a curse. Very early on, red team is doing well, and they pluck the bird at the top. The chicken is down, and there is going to be a little bit of KFC on the menu. Plague Makers in game number 2, they are whooping their ass. Hinterland Blast, by the way, has been chosen. I talked about that already. I talked about it when we were in the draft, and I actually thought, there's no way they're gonna do that. But yeah, they're still doing it. Hinterland, there's a lot of lasers. It's basically a laser show. You have Hinterland Blast, you have the Purifier Beam, and you have Disintegrate. And that is going to be pretty much it. ETC, ETC. There's no help. And he uses Mosh Pit. Okay, so just for everyone else who watches, in a situation like this when you're guaranteed to be dead and there's no one around, don't use that cooldown. Because that's that's 120-second cooldown and you are dead for 10 more seconds. So you're not only dying, you're also wasting a cooldown that's 2 minutes long. While Falstad gets some Hinterland Blast value and takes that nasty Haka down. And flies straight middle to help out with the defense, but that's the second fort, the third fort that falls. Coming back to that ETC point though, you don't really want to waste your cooldown as well if there's no follow-up. If there's a couple of heroes around from your team, hey, by all means, try and get that mosh pit through. If they can get a counter kill, that's fantastic. But if you already know you're not going to get anything out of it, you don't have to go for it. Also, this is pretty much a waste of bribe. If you're in a spot where you have 3 heroes with you and you can easily just take the camp, you don't have to waste the bribe slots for it. I don't know how many stacks Brightwing had there, but you can just simply try and get another camp instead a bit later. Situation isn't really too great for the Red Runs right now. They're down 1 game in the series, they're down 5 kills, but they've at least managed to survive on the keep side through that curse, but they really needed to start taking a couple of wins here. Brightwing didn't go into Emerald Wind, instead we're actually seeing the Blink heal for Brightwing. Taking also a quick look at the numbers here, especially in terms of damage. Gul'dan, of course, leading the charts. We doubt that. And Falstad with his 22k, way ahead of Liming. Liming has no damage, 9,000, that's nothing. Valla and Artanis, for example, didn't really get any combos off just yet. And needs to try and get that a little bit farther out. There's a bit of a bait that we're seeing there. Yeah. He's an absolute, like, he's great at baiting people. He's a master baiter. He's fantastic at it. And ETC with a face check, the slide, but the tether is in. And they're actually getting away from this. Are they? The cage is down and they're just walking away. Falstad with another Hinterland Blast. There's quite a bit of damage that they have here. Trying to go for the swaps as well, and that's just buttons being pressed everywhere. Mosh pit, baby! Now we're talking! And that it should be a kill against Arthas at least. And yep, they get him. Arthas down. Horrify being used. Brightwing is dead. And we're seeing ETC and Liming fall. Everybody's dying. Stukov is also down. Falstad nearly getting another kill in. And Artanis is just saying, like, and the attack. But he dies too. 4 heroes down against 2. Still value at the bot lane from the camp that they took a little bit earlier. So they get that, but the Gul'dan damage is just getting disgusting right now. He got so much in the last fight. Granted, so did Falstad, because he is really homing in with those Hinterland Blasts and gets quite a bit of damage out. I'm going to take a look at his stats in a second here. But the red team is definitely struggling to win those fights. This is a nice push out, and no one is taking the... Okay, they're coming for the experience right now. I was like worried for a moment. 35 stacks. Again, especially ETC is suffering here, not really getting any globes. 9 stacks, 10 minutes in. Suboptimal. Not really great for him. You want to have that proc rock because it is some of the sustain in your fights, especially since you outside of that only have Brightwing right now. And Brightwing needs to work a little bit more with those shields. Like, a lot of this just doesn't do a whole lot. You have the Blink heal right now, the Peekaboo. So with the shield and everything, you need to make sure that you get those Z's through during the fight. But also Gul'dan is starting to really do work on the stacking. And once that he has the Echoed Corruption completed, fighting in a choke point like this in such a corridor would be a nightmare. 16 is there. Do you fight or do you not fight without the talent? There's only 1 tribute on the opponent's team. Boss is taken. So there's a good chance that you're not going to try and fight for the tribute here, but instead just defend the boss, get your camp, and deal with that. So that's exactly what they're doing here. Going to try and defend the boss right now. They have also those Siege Giants that help out with it. There comes the Brightwing attack immediately though from the Howling Blast. Yeah, but it should be an easy defense for them. Boss is nearly done already, and yes, that's 5-man, but still. Swap attempt into the back didn't quite work out for Artanis, but they take the boss down very early. The drag against ETC, on the other hand, changes things. And yep, that's the death of him, and Brightwing falls as well. Falstad is farming a little bit of extra damage with his ult, and that's all he can do. And Artanis gets the swap. The problem is that there's nothing that Starlord is worried about. Just goes straight into the burrow, has the tunneling claws, and just moves away from that. Easy peasy. Tribute hasn't even been channeled yet, even grabbed it. Could have taken that maybe a bit earlier. 14 kills against 5 now. And with ETC and Brightwing both dead, there's no interrupt here either. You need to farm the 16, you need to stay a little bit chill, and you just need to say, okay guys, let's wait and take a team fight once upon 16 and then take it from there. The blue team, that's more so the question. What do you do now if you're the blue team? You have 2 camps that you can take, one hard camp and an easy camp, and of course you have the boss, but going for that might be a little bit of a problem. So, not gonna try and head into that. Just need to make sure that if you can get a kill, you're going to get it. If you can force a fight before 16, you definitely want to do that. And they are looking at it right now. Forcer is about to fly in. 16 versus 16 is there. Artanis is in the back. Brightwing attack. Nice mosh pit. A fantastic mosh. And not enough damage. It was just a bit too late. A great power slide again by Kaplan. But he doesn't get the damage just yet. Here comes Stukov. Barely moving out. Brightwing jumps in. Dies immediately. But the counter kill against the Haka. And once again, they're going for Arthas. Artanis is dead, but they might get the kill against Princess. Here comes Falstad, Horrify, NS wants the kill, he gets it, but it dies instantly. And Niam actually survived. Bullshit, like he went out, it was Falstad that died and popped up on the board, but he was actually able to jump out. I just saw him disappear, gets still chased here, gets the damage in, and who's gonna take that? Oh, Vault of the Wardens, teleport, and... yes, no, maybe. Oh, close call. Amiga Spirit. Barely able to get away there. Li Ming still alive. Here comes the root though. Nice combo from Stukov. And that should be the end of ETC. Bam! He is dead as well. I actually think on the minimap he was shown as escaping from that fight, but stuck around for some reason. Amiga Spirit gets the channel. And that's the instant curse. 18 kills against 9. And now we're having... of course, a massive push coming on all lanes as those catapults are pushing through even harder. Top lane is already starting to attack here. Brightwing is back. And Mr. Bukalele and Surayan. People give me so much crap right now for always like talking shit about Lucio and Brightwing. But every single time they're picked, they're losing. I just want to point that out real quickly. That's a great isolation. I'm not quite sure why you were worried about that. I mean, you hit the isolation, don't get me wrong. That's like points right there, but why were you worried about Brightwing? That hero has negative value right now. Alright, here comes the Hinterland Blast again, but the Horrify, and that's the end of Falstad. Falstad is down, and Marine Lord might die. Nope, Artanis can't get the kill there either. Brightwing is again on the run. Blinking around everywhere, but 2 keeps are down. Mosh pit is there, but the damage isn't, and that just means that right now we're seeing not only Artanis fall, we're going to see Brightwing die again as well if they want to have her. Question is, do they? And the answer is yes. They take her down, the core is already about to fall, and things are not looking too pretty for the Red Runs as they are losing to the Plague Makers with an 0-2, getting demolished in the second game. 21 kills against 7. Gul'dan never even died. 47,000 on the board for him. GG and well played as the Plague Makers take the series at Heroes launch. Congratulations.